My name is Garrett Sims. We got a great episode 15 with guest Charlye Adams for you. She came in to talk a little bit about the OHS girls basketball team, which is doing really, really well. Make sure you're getting out and supporting our sports. But with that being said, we got lots to talk about. So, episode 15 starts right now. My name is Garrett Sims. It's episode 15 of Sports Timeout. Kory's a little under the weather, but as Michael Jordan once did, he went on with the show.
The flu game, baby.
Yeah, this is Kory's flu recording.
Let's do it.
We're going to see how much we like this. Sports are kind of picking back up. We're getting back into some regular action. Obviously, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Huge win for the Chiefs, and I think we nailed it right on the head last week, what we needed and things like that. But as we get into it, we're going to get into this. I thought was interesting, Kory. Oak Grove plays Wellington-Napoleon. Mm-hmm. And really, in that game, Oak Grove comes away victorious in both cases. I think boys basketball and girls basketball both played. And two big wins, really, for Oak Grove in a 59-38 win. That was the girls' team. And 67-27 was the boys' team. That's just good ball, Kory.
It's good ball by Oak Grove, and props to them. I mean, I can't remember. They didn't have many games leading up into that. I feel like they've had a lot of time off. So to go in and take care of business because of the weather and the Christmas break and all that fun stuff. So props to them for going in and taking care of business. They've got 2 W's against probably 2 teams that they should beat, which is what you have to do. It gives Wellington-Napoleon stuff to look at on film to, help them understand what they need to fix to get better here late in the season. So, I mean, you hate to experience losses like that if you're Wellington-Napoleon, but sometimes that'll help you in the long run. So, again, props to Oak Grove. They took care of business, like you said, and got the 2 dubs.
Yeah, and that's just one thing I kind of want to touch on is that this. Don't take the loss for Wellington-Napoleon as a big thing, because I think what they do in terms of challenging their athletes in a sense like this and making them grow and become better players, better athletes, that's all this is, Oak Grove is Class 3, Class 2, I don't know
Class
how they...
Class 4 in basketball.
Class 4 in basketball, so that's obviously a big difference from Wellington-Napoleon. And that's just why I think it's such a great learning experience and that these games do matter in a sense for both teams, because you get to kind of measure, stick up against yourself, see what you got. And then sometimes, and I don't want to say it like this, but like in practice and football practice or baseball practice or whatever it is, if your scout team's playing harder than what you're going to see during the game that Friday, that whatever, you know what I mean? So maybe as they get to districts and stuff like that, they'll find out that, yes, these are tough losses to swallow, but it's going to help them out later on because they are not going to be facing the level that Oak Grove's girls basketball team is.
Yeah, and everything goes in cycles. I mean, these coaches and teams, it wasn't too long ago when Wellington went into Oak Grove girls basketball and put a stomping on them. They had the Shannon twins at that time, Aiden and Bree, and played pretty darn well and beat them by double digits. Same with the boys. I mean, I've been to games where the Oak Grove boys took one on the chin to Wellington-Napoleon. So it all goes in cycles.
And it really is. Mm-hmm. And we'll get it deeper into the cycles with the new Odessa football coach because I think we're going to be starting a whole new cycle there.
Yes.
Sure. The one last thing I wanted to point out about these last 2, I thought Goddard had a very nice stat line. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist with 1 steal and 1 block. Talk about doing it all. Mm-hmm. I don't know how rare of a stat line that is, but that feels like to get...
She's not a flashy player. She wouldn't jump off the court at you on film or in person, and that's not an insult to Miss Goddard. She's just a steady, reliable, available player every freaking night. So she could go for 5 points and 6 boards one night, or she could go for 17 and 6 the next. I mean, it just whatever is required of her, whatever is asked of her, she's obviously able to step up and produce. And obviously that night it helped him take care of Wellington-Napoleon.
Yeah, it did. And I was gonna say Philip. I'm not gonna get his name right.
I'm gonna go with Nato.
I would say Nato. That's what I would say. 20 points, 2 steals in their win. Obviously, I mean, almost a third of the points. What a game for him. That's pretty big.
Coming off an ankle injury, if I remember right, too. So he's had a little rest to rest that. I believe at the Pleasant Hill tournament, didn't see any action. So that's one of his first games back. So, yeah, good production out of him for sure.
Really good for a first game back. I'll say that. Yeah. Really good. My goodness.
Yep.
We did want to talk a little bit about Odessa and Oak Grove did go to this Queen of the North wrestling tournaments. Love them. I know Phillips and Fallert were the tournament champs at their weight. And these
from
two...
From Oak Grove.
Yep. From Oak Grove. These two dominate because they even came to the Odessa Invitational. I think it was them two and Couch. They came in and they took the tournament champs at their weight too because that was a whole... They look intimidating, and I imagine they're just as fierce. And man, it's just huge to come.
Yeah, they are. They're nice young ladies off the mat, but once they step in the little circle there, man, it's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different attitude. It's a whole different, grab you by the throat metaphorically, and get the job done. But I mean, those two are ferocious once they step on the mat. And I mean, if you ask any opponent that they've probably ever faced, they're like, you don't want to draw either one.
Yeah,
you don't want to, and because you're going to have to work hard just to score and stay in the match, let alone have to work super hard to get a W against those two. So yeah,
I mean, it's just, and I wanted to kind of side note, take it a little bit. I love the names of these wrestling invitationals. I think some of them are very creative. Not totally side note, but I love the Queen of the North, Battle of the Braids, Wonder Woman tournament.
Yeah.
I love them. I love creative pun names.
What would you name some of the boys tournaments? Because some of those are just like the Lee Summit North Individual.
See, and that's what I'm upset about.
Invitational.
See, that's what I'm upset about because you got the girls who's got these cool names, and then the guys, it's just like Lee Summit North Invitational. And I think it was funny because they went to the Lee Summit North Invitational. I think they went to the Holiday, and it's like name the same thing with just Holiday in it. It's like, what about the Tiger Rastic Bash?
Sure.
That's at least better.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with it. That's fine by me, yeah. We got to come up with some names, for sure.
Kind of side note a little bit, and we're going to go to Odessa girls basketball because we have the guest this week, Charlye Adams. Like I said, I kind of got the connection through a friend of mine, Kylie, and she came in and gave such a great interview. And I asked her about the hard hat because I didn't know much about it, Kory.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool because I think it's the little things like that with these teams that show you what type of culture can happen at the high school level. And I think talking to her, and this is a sophomore, and she's talking about coming in and day out, doing the little things right and what she has to do and what she has to improve on. And you just love everything about it, and you just want to... I mean, I'm excited because they're off to a really, really good start.
Yeah.
They got leadership with Gracie Hargett, and they got all across the board, Keely Burke, Kylie Thomas, Charlye Adams, Brooke Miller, if I got that right.
Yeah.
And you just get excited about it. And, I mean, Charlie's a great athlete, and I really enjoy talking with her.
Yeah, they do. That team is, I would say, unique in the fact that they have Gracie Hargett, the one senior, excellent leader, been in the program her whole career. But they've also got really good leaders in the junior class. They've got sophomore leaders like Charlye Adams in that grade level. They've got quality freshmen, quite honestly. And I don't know if you've seen the middle school team play. They've got players coming. So, I mean, Odessa's going to be, I feel like, and I'm probably biased, it's probably going to be good for the next few years.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be a fun little ride here. And fun girls basketball is exactly that. Fun girls basketball. It's fun to watch.
And I should know the date off the top of my head. I want to feel like it's coming up. But, I mean, Odessa and Oak Grove are about to play very, very soon here. And then on top of that, like we say, you got districts. You got all that stuff coming up. So, and what we've said on this podcast time and time again, I think these two are heading for a collision course.
Yeah, could be.
And you want it to, and you want both teams to win. Unfortunately, sometimes that can't happen. But it gets you excited when you got these two really, really good programs building cultures and doing really good things.
Yeah.
Cool. We had some, I don't know if we said it officially on here, but Mark Thomas, Coach Thomas, my former coach, he retired. So we got a new coach from Lutheran North, Brett Jewell. I had the opportunity to meet him this weekend, and I was impressed with some of the things he was saying, Kory. The one thing I really thought stood out, he had all the say players, I won't say seniors. I just he was kind of talking and how he wants them to be comfortable in whatever they do. So yes, he's got this idea of what the team needs to look like, but also at the same time he had said, I don't really have ever ran much power scheme, but since that's something you guys do, we're going to continue doing that until we feel like we can get comfortable in something else. And you got to love that.
So he came from the defensive side of the football,
yes,
right?
He did. Yeah. And that was one of the things he said, too, is that defense will be feared.
Yeah.
And he said whoever comes on that field to play us will know. And it's the things like that that I think that's saying the right things, and that's what you can envision for a culture.
Yeah, I feel like traditionally, and I didn't play for Coach Thomas, but I feel like traditionally, if I look back on Mark Thomas teams, they are known, honestly, for both sides of the football, they are known for their physicality.
Yeah.
Like it's a fist fight in a phone booth, I think is how we kind of talked about things in the past. I mean, they will not back down from anybody, and they will go toe-to-toe with anybody. So, I mean, it's, so for him to say that, I think that's fantastic, because I think that's kind of the mentality of our town here.
What you truly want to hear, and that was one of the things Coach Clemens, and granted, we don't know what's to say with him, but that was one of the things he had said coming from UCM. He had Odessa guys before, and he said there's something about them. They're gritty. They work hard. They got a toughness to them. He always enjoyed that, so he wanted to come see it firsthand, but I really enjoyed what they did. They had a little meet and greet. They got some donuts out. They got the kids out there. They had some little league kids out there. It was a really cool experience. And I'll tell you a little funny story, Kory. I was sitting there. All my stuff was at a table in the back. So, and Joe told me beforehand, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to be there. Chances are probably not. I'm on my phone and I look up. Guess who's talking to Mr. Brett Jewell without even saying hi to me?
Mr. Spar?
Yeah, it was Mr. Spar. to my shock, surprise. Yeah. I thought I was sent there, and I'm like, there's Joe, and he's talking to him, and I'm like, I haven't even talked to the guy yet. And I'm like, he's already one step further than I am, but
Joe's setting the tone for expectations. We got to have stuff for the paper, Coach. That's all we get.
Got to make sure we have content, because if Joe's sitting there probably Tuesday about 4:00 without content,
absolutely,
you don't want to be in the Odessa at that time.
Absolutely not.
But it was good little event. I got to talk to some of the kids, and they're excited. I really do think that it's good. Like we go with cycles. This is a new cycle. This is everything. Until we get to football season, which is such a long time away.
Yep.
I think we really won't know. But I am interested to see for how the Oak Grove-Odessa rivalry's been, what it's going to be, because I think now you're back at ground zero.
Yeah.
It's two hungry organizations, and really Sharts and Oak Grove, I think they'll come back a little bit better next year. But
yep, they will. I mean, at year 2 for Sharts, this will be year 1 for Coach Jewell here, putting in his schemes and beliefs and philosophies and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting. Absolutely,
definitely for sure, and we're excited to see what he does as he kind of goes on. And obviously, that kind of, I don't want to call it a presser. That's what my mind goes to. That conference meeting, whatever it was, good first step for him. I'm excited to see what he does. He obviously had me ready to go put on a helmet and shoulder pads.
That's good.
One last thing I want to talk about. Funny little story. In case anybody cares, I got all 3 of my high school jerseys back.
Boom.
Got all 3 of them. The black, I got the white, I got the red. So if anybody happens to have a white 63 with a little 16 number at the bottom, that is the original. I have the copy. I need the original from Kennett. It is dirtier than hell. But
seriously.
Oh, probably.
From Kennett, though? It's from the Kennett game?
Yeah, it's from. That's part of the reason I want it so bad, is because that jersey was so dirty after that game, they couldn't wash it back to white. It was light brown at the end.
It was. That game was nasty.
It was not fun.
It was nasty.
But let's talk about a fun football game, because for lunch today I had Bill's Tears.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was pretty tasty.
Freaking, that's awesome.
They're nutritional.
Could you believe that game?
No. I actually told my dad about when the Bills scored that touchdown to go 22-21. I was like, the run's over. The run's over.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at the stats from the game, but like everything is within an eyelash of each other. Like total yards is within like 9 yards of each other. Passing yards is within like 7 yards. Time of possessions within 32 seconds.
Yes, seconds.
It's the only turnover was Mahomes' fumble.
And he had to make the game interesting.
Oh, my God. Crazy.
Because I'm not trying to side note, but they go up 2 touchdowns. Bills can't rely on the run game, and I'm sorry, our secondary, our pass rush versus... Because arguably the run game kept them in.
Well, yeah, and our defense, honestly, kept us in. The last play there on that 4th down, which I'm still praying for that tight end who dropped the pass. It was a diving attempt.
It was a hard pass.
It was a difficult pass. It was a difficult catch, but, man, you're in the NFL. You got to hope you make that catch. But for our, I'm drawing a blank now, Spags calling the corner blitz on a 4th down, like, crucial play. Like, that is some brass attachments.
But see, that's the funny thing is it's like I knew the blitz was coming and I didn't know when because there were a couple times where he didn't send pressure and I was like, he's got something in his pocket.
Yeah.
And that was the one.
He pulled the ace.
They were breaking it down on Get Up this morning on ESPN, and not that we're ESPN comparison or anything like that.
Not yet.
But I was very interested on how they were talking about McDuffie and how he was looking back at Josh Allen, and really that's what might have helped disguise it even more because I don't know. It was just such a big call.
Yeah.
I can't say the word. You know what I want to say.
Yeah, I know what you want to say. I mean, if they complete that pass, you're screaming at the TV, and if they don't complete that pass like they didn't, I'm also screaming at the TV. Like it's just for different reasons. But I mean, it's like, holy cow! I mean, for us to score right before half was big. Like, all right, we're going to go in. I think it was 10 points, maybe at the time, whatever it was, and then they come right back down and score. And you're like, oh, man, like that's not the momentum you kind of want to give up before halftime, especially when you're going to get the ball first in the second half.
See, and that's what I was saying. The Chiefs came down and they kind of stalled, and then because they had that one pass, I can't remember if it was Hollywood or something, but it extended the drive. It might have been Kelsey, and then they stalled, and I think the drive after that they punted again, and I was sitting there, and then that's when I think, Buffalo comes in, and I'm sitting there like they are just destroying our defense in the run game.
Yeah.
And that's hard because, and this is the thing I'll say, because as bad as our run game looked, how are you going to go against the Eagles with Saquon Barkley and stuff like that? But we can both agree that Jalen Hurts is not the threat that Josh Allen is running the ball.
No, I don't think so either, unless you're getting into 4th and goal and then you get the old tush push going on for the Philadelphia tush push. But no, I mean, I mean, and props to Josh Allen. The dude is, 6'7". He's a goddamn beast running downhill.
He's almost perfect every time he plays the Chiefs. I mean, I think he's got 1 interception in the postseason. It's like 10, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Except the stat that matters is he's 0-4 in the postseason against Kansas City, and I'm sure that's the only one he's looking at too. But holy moly, that was a. I yelled a lot. I yell at TV a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I yell at TV a lot during football games, basketball games, whatever it might be. Yeah, I had a headache last night after the game. Like I was just, my wife was probably more annoyed with me than anything else. But it was an intense game. I'd like to say I helped at some point on some level.
I bet you did.
I'm sure I did.
I guarantee you, Kory.
Yeah, I couldn't tell how many times I said throw the ball, and he did. But he did. But no, it was. But now we get to sit on pins and needles for 2 weeks and figure out how to stop Saquon Barkley and all that fun stuff. And that is not going to be an easy task.
It's not. I'm just glad that. In terms of a three-peat, you got the chance. It's right in front of you. I mean, you're not going to come up short. You're going to get a chance.
Did they say during the game yesterday that of the teams who have had a chance to three-peat, all of those teams never made it back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they never even made it back.
Yeah. So this is one.
They all lost at the conference championship.
Yeah.
And, I do want to talk about this because this was a big thing that I didn't want to happen was the refs to take control of the game. And I will say this. I don't think at any point that they did. I thought there were penalties, but they went both sides. And even there was a time where they did call some on the Bills, but then it was like right after the Chiefs had a period where it seemed like they could do nothing right.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is we want to go to this Josh Allen tush push and did he get over the line? Did he get over the line? Whatever you want to call it. I will gladly say that in that situation, a 4th and 1, and you're running a quarterback sneak that's been stopped every single time but once, and that was the first time they ran it.
Yeah.
And that's your go-to. The Chiefs had defended it well all day. I'll say Chris Jones' helmet probably saved it. I don't know if you remember, but Jones' head perfectly moved over in the replay, and I was like,
Where's the football?
Where's the football? Are they going to be able to clearly and concisely turn this over?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
No, it's unbelievable.
Once again, I think Chiefs fans kind of have to live with the hate. Enjoy greatness. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
What Mahomes and this team are doing, my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is probably Kelsey's last year, too.
Man, it probably is. It's looking...
after last night...
Yeah, was it 2 catches for 19 yards at one point late in the game? I don't even know if that's what he finished with, but it was like, darn it. Like, I'm sure that obviously opens up Hollywood and Xavier and Juju. I get that, but man, he's just a guy that you love to see. Thank God he sang in the post-game press conference around the field or post-game trophy presentation. Because he's a great soundbite.
Oh yeah,
you gotta have him. We
didn't get Fight for Your Right. It's a new one. It's getting groovy, baby. Whatever he did that time.
I don't even remember what it was because I think I was laughing too hard. But yeah, it was just I'm sure that brought a tear to Taylor Swift's eye for sure. Him singing like that.
I mean, he's gonna be the undercard for the next tour probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably him and Jason will come out. Start breaking it down.
Exactly. Why not?
I mean, you just got to be so lucky that this is the football that we get to watch after watching so poor football. It just feels like a dream. I'm still looking at it like every time you feel like they should lose, and it's like, is this how Patriots fans felt? Is this... Yeah. But this just feels like uncharted territory because I don't think anybody's truly been as good as Mahomes is or can take over the game. No. I mean...
And honestly, last night I was thinking... one major thought, and that was my kids are spoiled. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They have not had to, live through 30 years of agony or 40 years of agony. I guess it was 50 years before they won their Super Bowl, their second Super Bowl. I mean, have really good Chiefs teams. We've got Royals teams that have been pretty darn decent. It's just one of those deals where, like, they're spoiled. They're spoiled. I hope it lasts for the rest of my life. That'd be fantastic. But, yeah. They haven't had to live through the Bill Kenny, Todd Blackledge era and I wasn't my youth.
That wasn't my youth, but my youth wasn't much better. It was Trent Green and Priest Holmes, which was a bright spot. But then you got to go to Brady Quinn, Tyler Thigpen, Matt Castle.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started
Absolutely.
on that guy.
Absolutely.
Matt Castle. By the way, funny story, at Puddle Jumpers, they had a signed Chiefs Matt Castle helmet, and every kid wanted that. I bet you that's sitting in a dumpster somewhere. It gotta be.
No, it's on somebody's mantle. I promise you.
You think a Matt Castle?
Why not?
Oh,
it's an NFL. It's a signed NFL piece of merchandise. Heck yeah! What did it go for?
It was raffle.
Auction?
It was raffle. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I remember that from years ago. I think it was either you had a choice of the helmet or an Xbox, and they took the helmet. So I don't remember. I was like 6 or 7. This was years ago. So
that is a long time ago, man. Was that 7 or 8 years ago?
God, a lot of summers ago. I'll say that. A lot of summers ago. I'm old. I'm getting older. But I think that's all we got for you guys. Make sure you're getting out there. Make sure you're supporting these great athletes, getting out there in the community, and they could use your support. Kory, you got anything else for them?
I don't. That's it.
That's
a
it.
Wrap.
That's the flu recording from Kory.
Yep.
Up next, our guest, Charlye Adams. I'm here with Charlye Adams, member of the OHS basketball team, sophomore, for our guest interview this week. Thank you for joining me, Charlye.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and I just wanted to get started real easy. What made you start playing basketball, and what do you like most about it?
Well, I've started basketball ever since I was little. It was just kind of get going into sports, and then very soon on, I realized that I liked it a lot, and then I started playing it my whole life. And it was just a very fun sport for me. And then I found my love and passion for it. And I've just been playing since and really grown into it.
Could you describe that passion a little bit?
I don't know. It's just whenever I got older, I realized that it was something that I wanted to do as I continued on from school. And then I started doing it every day after school, just practice shooting and everything. And I found my passion for my coaches too. They've helped me out a lot. And I think I just really grown into the sport, and I practice it every day, and it's just been a daily thing for me now.
That's awesome. And what are some things on the court you're looking forward to this year? Are there any games or teams that you're looking forward to?
Definitely looking forward to Oak Grove games. That's one of our rival schools, so, we get very hyped for that game. Definitely on the court, we love to, for our program, we love our teamness. Like, we all have good teams and we all are friends, and it's just a very fun environment to be in and very exciting.
In kind of looking at the season, is there anything compared to last season that's a little bit different for you?
Last season for me, I was not very confident. I didn't take a lot of shots in at all. I just wanted the ball out of my hands at most points. I was scared of messing up. But this year I stepped into my role. I'm a starter now, and when I get the ball, I try to do the most I can with it since I'm a starting point guard. And I'm definitely just more confident overall when I'm on the court and know what to do.
Are there any big goals this season for Charlye Adams?
My big goal was to shoot more. My big goal was to get some more points on my record. I wanted to score more because last year I could barely score, and so far I've been achieving that so far.
What are some things that you've done to get there?
Well, last summer was whenever I really stepped into it. We had a 20,000 goal for each of our players, and I accomplished it in some months after it, and I think doing those 20,000 shots over the summer, getting in the gym, working, I think it has really improved my form and my shot and overall. And you can definitely tell in the games that my shot has gotten a lot better.
Of course, I mean, all that hard work's going to pay off. And I just kind of wanted to ask you, you mentioned it with the coaching staff. Are there any upperclassmen or leaders or former players or even coaches that you look up to as role models?
I definitely look up to Coach Doyle, and as a player, Keely Bird. I mean, we all are really close and bond. Coach Doyle has definitely helped me find my confidence. He has helped me with my skills and everything. He's been working with me for quite some time since he's been on the staff. And Keely, she's just been a good role model. I mean, we're like the same on the team. We both are point guards, both shooting guards, and we're just like the exact same basically.
Has Coach Doyle gave you any advice that's kind of stuck with you or motivated you?
Shoot with confidence. Our biggest thing is my confidence, and I could not find my shot for the longest time, and so that's been our biggest motto, shoot with confidence.
That's awesome. And I just want to ask you a little bit, because you are a point guard. What's your style like with the point guard position, and what do you bring to it?
I try to be very confident when I dribble and do moves. I try to get to work around the defense to make some moves happen so I can get some of our shooters open, try to drive and get them open so they can have an open shot to shoot because we want them to shoot. And overall just help my team out, get assists, and just love to work with them on the court.
I wanted to ask you about, we've talked about some teammates and stuff like that, but who are some of your favorite teammates? And, do you have any fun stories or moments so far throughout the season?
I mean, I don't think I have a favorite teammate. We all are pretty close bond. We're all very close. But one of my fun moments is we all did a lock-in this year already, and we just played karaoke all night long, just singing, doing hide and seek. It was a very fun time. We just stayed in the school, and we locked in all night, and we just sang karaoke and played cornhole and spike ball and just all these fun things. It was very fun.
What song did you sing?
We sing a lot. There was some from movies. There is one from like Zombies where it's like, I don't even remember. There was definitely just a lot of songs. We did karaoke for hours on hours. It was fun.
Are there any moments from this year so far that stand out so far, any of the past games or anything like that?
Our first game has stand out a lot. That was one of our best games I'd say we have played all year. We were all very high. We were hardworking. We played very fast, very under controlled. I think it was one of our best and funnest games we've ever had so far this season.
And I want to ask about something because I've seen this and maybe many people don't know what it is. Could you explain what the pink hard hat is, what it's called, how you get it? Just explain that to me.
We call it the hard hat. It is for the hardest working player of the game. So the person that just got it brings it to the bus. We bring it to the game, and then after the game, we talk about everything about the game, and then every player nominates who we think was the hardest working player on the court. It doesn't matter about the points scored or anything. We just look for who's the hardest player, who worked the best, who did it, like who had their game on. And so then they get the hat. We put a sticker on for if we won the game, what was the score, and then they keep it until our next game.
That's awesome. And I just want to ask you, you guys are off to a great start, and how do you guys keep that up? Is there anything that you do day in and day out to make sure that, everything's going to plan?
What we mostly do for our season, we want to keep a winning record, but we like to play fast. That's our motto, is we want to play fast, but we want to stay under control, and I think that's one of our hardest things, is staying under control, and so we do that every practice. We try to play fast while staying under control for game-like situations.
And I just want to ask you, what does it mean to play for Odessa and represent a team like this, and to play in front of such an enthusiastic home crowd?
It means everything. I mean, it's such a thrilling moment. I mean, like, everyone's there, everyone's supportive, everyone's hype. It's just a fun environment to be in, and it means everything to me.
Well, that's all I had for you. I want to open it up to you, Charlye. Anything you really want to say?
No, I mean, we're having such a great season, and I can't wait to move on and see how we grow. Thank you for having me.
Such a great athlete. Thank you for joining me, and make sure, Bulldog Nation, get out there, support Charlye Adams, support this OHS girls basketball team. They're amazing and doing great things. We really hope you've enjoyed the interview with Charlye Adams. Thank you again to Charlye for coming in and talking to us. We'll have a sponsored ad break with the Bank of Odessa, Oak Grove, Lamonte. We want to give a special shout out to the Bank of Odessa for supporting Sports Timeout. Bank of Odessa has been locally owned and operated since 1880. They have 4 locations, 2 in Odessa, 1 in Oak Grove, and 1 in Lamont. You'll find them at bankofodessa.com, member FDIC. Here we are at the end of Sports Timeout, episode 15. Hopefully we gave you guys a great episode. Make sure you're getting out there and supporting these teams. They're doing great things, and it just helps them out a lot to give them your support. With that being said, make sure you're picking up your issue of the Odessan to get all things non-sports related that is in the news and that is happening. But other than that, we'll catch you next week with Sports Timeout, episode 16.